All right, welcome to another episode of Frags and Beer Radio News. We talk about the last week in geek and all the different things that have happened over the week, whether it be movies or games or technology or really cool things that we read about online. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Russell Michaels. Welcome, Russell.
Hello.
And we got no guest tonight, which is fine because we got a pretty packed show. But a few announcements up front, just so you guys know. I will be doing GenCon this weekend, so watch HighlandArrow.com, spelled just like it sounds, Highland Arrow. I'll be doing a lot of articles about, I'm actually doing interviews with one of the guys from Steve Jackson Games about some of the upcoming Munchkin stuff. I'm also doing an interview with one of the guys from Paizo about their new, if you don't know, Paizo is the guys who put out Pathfinder. They're doing a Space Finder game, which I imagine is going to be like the old Starjammer stuff from D&D. So watch for that. And I'm also doing an interview with the creator of Tunnels and Trolls. They're bringing Tunnels and Trolls out again as a tabletop game, and I'll be talking to the creator of that along with the company that's putting that out. Also, just some articles coming about the weekend. But because of Gen Con, that means next Tuesday there won't be a show. I just won't have time to prepare anything, and I won't have time to see Suicide Squad, which is what we'll be talking about on the show on the 16th with our special guest, Crimson Pleasure from Real Women of Gaming, who's a huge Harley Quinn fan. And we want to see what she thinks about the new Harley Quinn versus the old. She's like me. She grew up with the old animated series and was first introduced to Harley Quinn there, and has watched.
As was everyone, because that was Harley Quinn's first appearance.
Pretty much, but some of the younger people don't. I mean, younger readers of DC Comics and people who have only been exposed to that through the Arkham games have a very different view of Harley Quinn. Harley has changed so much over the years.
Well, they've given her sexuality. Because she was on a children's show, they weren't able to explore that.
Right, but, and they went from a very kind of cute, quirky, kind of crazy person to a very sexy psycho, so to speak.
Margot Robbie's she was kind of psychotic in the series.
A little bit, but she was more the cute crazy
she
that
try to kill people several
times.
But then there's Margot Robbie's a very good vehicle for the sexy Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and so I'm going to talk to Margot what she thinks. She actually wrote an article, and if you go back and look on fragsandbeer.com, a few months back, she wrote an article about getting over her impressions of, not so much setting aside her early impressions of Harley Quinn, but also learning to accept the new iterations and the new visions of Harley Quinn as a total package, as opposed to trying to separate them into individual characters. And so I hope to talk to her and see what she thinks about the new one.
What's her name again?
Our guest?
Yes.
Crimson Pleasure.
Oh yeah, because you called her Margot there.
No, Margot from the movie.
Yeah, I thought for a second you called her Margot. Like,
did I? I may have stumbled. I may have stumbled. No, our guest is Crimson Pleasure. The actress is Margot Robbie, and I may have got confused there.
Yeah, it's fine. So what story do you want to talk about first?
Tonight we're going to jump right in, and actually we're going to, because this wasn't planned, so we're going to throw this right out. Russell, you finished Preacher tonight. I finished Preacher actually last night because we had to record the last 20 minutes or so. We were just exhausted Sunday. What did you think about Preacher?
It's good. The season is very good. It sets up a lot for next season. Clearly the villain for next season is going to be that dude. Oh yeah, spoilers by the way.
Yes.
If you've seen Preacher, you might want to skip the next 10 minutes of this.
There will be a little,
however long we talk about it. Yeah, spoilers. There's going to be that guy from hell who we realized was in hell the entire time. We weren't seeing like a flashback. We were seeing his life. His hell is the worst day of his life over and over and over and over again.
That reveal was pretty, and that was pretty deep.
We've seen this before.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then it happened again. I was like, okay, oh, he's in hell.
Yeah, and that was really, really. And if I'm thinking right, I think this character from the book is called the Saint of Killers.
It seems he can kill angels. I don't know why. I guess, can humans not kill angels? But
I don't think so, because they respawn.
People in hell can?
Because the angels they respawn. They're stuck in a perpetual video game.
But that one guy didn't respawn, and it didn't look like the woman he killed right at the end of the episode respawned either.
Yeah, I don't think she did. And yeah, I caught that too at the end where the one guy comes back on the bus. I wonder if they can't respawn when they go to hell, or maybe he's stuck there.
No, they just can't be respawn. They can be respawn if they're killed by humans.
That
they
could
can't
be.
Respawn.
Well, no, because remember the angels were fighting in that hotel room and they kept respawning. So yeah, I don't think it's angels killing them. I think it's where they are.
It's confusing.
It is, and that's what That's what I loved. That's what I've loved about the whole series the whole time, because it gives you enough mystery. Because I have not read the comics. My wife has not read the comics, and you said you haven't read the Preacher comics either,
it doesn't
right?
really matter because this season wasn't from the comic book.
Right, it's a
prequel to the start of the series.
Right, it sets up the story. But what I loved about the way they did it is they did it with enough mystery that you don't know exactly what's happening, but you wonder what's going to happen next. Like they don't expect you to know the comic going in, but they don't also make it so dumbed down that if you know anything about comics and this kind of stuff, you're just kind of like, come on, let's move on. It's not like they wrote it for dumb people or for the uber comic fan. They wrote it for kind of in between, and I love that because it, like you said, we don't know. There's so much we don't know yet that we want to know what's going to happen in the next season. Like, how does this all work? How does this world? We're still trying to figure out the rules of this world, and I loved it. I was so happy with the end and that last montage with that last 20 minutes or 15 minutes where the whole
that montage was only about 5 to 10 minutes.
Was it? Like, it felt longer, but it's just like, but because there was so much going on in the last few minutes of the last episode, that it was just everybody going crazy, the whole town just going to hell right before the thing blew up. I was like, it was so twisted and cool and weird, and just the whole season was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Preacher if you haven't seen it. If you happen to catch some spoilers, we didn't spoil everything because there's so much going on in this season. Honestly, every episode felt like a little mini movie. They're all interconnected. It's not an episodic show. It is very much a show where you need to watch from beginning to end. And yeah, there is so much going on in this show. I think you'll love it. Whether you watch whether you read the comic books or not, I think you'll love it. I haven't talked to anybody who is a fan of the comic, but like we said, this is a prequel, so we don't really know if they adapted the comic very well yet because they haven't really adapted the comic yet. This is all before the actual events in issue 1 of Preacher. Like right at the end of the season, they decide to start on the road that becomes issue 1 of the Preacher comics. So next season, we'll know whether they do a good job adapting this show or not. So, and quick little tidbit, and both Russell and I were thankful that they originally cast James Marsden in the role of Preacher Custer, and thank gods they didn't go with him. As much as he was all right as Cyclops, dude's much better in like the Nicholas Sparks movies than he is in an action movie or a action show, and I'm so glad that the way they the whole show, the cast has been fantastic. So good show, one of the best shows right now on network cable TV. Definitely check it out. Check it out on Hulu or Netflix when it hits disc. Catch up on it. I don't know if AMC, I'm sure AMC's going to run freaking, they do it with Walking Dead, so I'm sure you're going to have marathons of Preacher for the next, year until we get season 2, right?
Yeah. It's been renewed for, I think, a 13-episode second season, so... Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. I missed that news, but I'm very happy to hear it. I was sure. Actually, no, you know what? I think they did announce that, into I think it was the 3rd episode of Preacher came out when they announced that there was going to be a season 2, so... They picked that up real quick. AMC knows what the hell they're doing, which is unusual for cable television. Most of them like to drop the ball when it comes to good shows. Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, we're going to jump into some of our planned. I think we're going to jump right into the Nintendo thing because the Microsoft thing is a huge chunk. So Nintendo, we've got some early reports, and as... all we've got to go on, honestly, is a couple of articles from Eurogamer that say they talked to people at Nintendo and have confirmed that the Nintendo NX is going to be sort of a hybrid between the Wii U, the big Wii U gamepad with the screen in the middle, and the NVIDIA Shield, which is sort of the broadcasting station that you can connect to your television to broadcast games to your TV. And that the NX games are going to be cartridge based. I'm reading this on Eurogamer.net, which is in Nintendo NX is a portable console with detachable controllers. That's the headline that came out on the 26th of July. So I'm kind of with Russell too. Like they say in the video, if you watch the video, it's going to be powered by the NVIDIA Tegra mobile processor. And if you watch the video on Eurogamer's site, they say they confirmed with sources at Nintendo that this is what it's going to be. But we're both of the mind that how the hell are you going to fit Breath of the Wild on a cartridge?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And I'm with you. I like part of me is like they say they confirmed it. Okay, did you confirm it? But Nintendo hasn't really released much yet, so we're not sure. It will broadcast your high def TV. There is going to be, like I said, there's going to be sort of a station. I don't know if it's going to be a docking station or if it's going to be more like the Wii U was, where you had that big controller, but you also had a console. But it's going to be a hybrid. They say that you're going to be able to take the Nintendo NX with you away as a portable game unit, and then you will also be able to play it at home on your big screen TV. But cartridge, I don't know. Like, I like the idea of cartridges because of just the simple fact that, like, few systems have been as stable as Nintendo's cartridge systems. Like, of all the systems we've had out there, like, some of them have been pretty sketchy, even with the advanced technology and discs.
Yeah. But all the Nintendo handheld generations have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. So
DS and the 3DS, they've all been very good. I've owned something in each of the generations of it. They're all very good.
Right. But what I'm reading here says NX's basis for a handheld game. They've heard suggestion that Nintendo recommends a 32 gigabyte cartridge, which they say is small considering the size of modern games. 32 gig is not small considering the size of modern games. I guess I don't know much about console games and how much it fits on a Blu-ray.
The cutscenes probably take up so much space on a new console.
When you install Doom, when I installed Doom on my PC, it only takes up like 4 gig.
Which Doom? The new Doom?
The new Doom.
Yeah, I'm going ahead and guess that that cutscenes are the primary reason why games are.
Oh yeah, those video files are huge.
The stupidly overly long cutscenes.
Yes, but still, 3.5 gig for one of the most modern games, or let's take Fallout 4, which is much bigger than Doom, and I still think that's less than 5 gig install size on my hard drive.
They may be able to put Breath of the Wild on a cartridge. I don't know.
If they're talking a 32 gig cartridge, I'd be interested to see if there's.
But what are the graphics going to be like?
That's the question. Yeah, what kind of? But really, all the code is contained on the cartridge, and if it's being run by an NVIDIA processors, and if this Tegra, I don't know much about the Tegra. I don't know if it's because NVIDIA is really going into the combination GPU CPU on one unit, especially with their mobile. So this very well could be a high quality graphics processing unit as well as a CPU together, which means you're going to get good graphics. If you're getting 32 gig on the cartridge, 32 gig, that's for one game, that's pretty big. I don't know why this article says that's small when considering the size of modern games. I'd like to know what modern games they're talking about. They get anywhere near 32 gig of data files. Like that's massive for one game. I can install half a dozen games on 32 gigs worth of space. So that's I don't know. They might be able to do it. It's interesting, but like I said, Nintendo hasn't really put much out yet. Let's see. And at the bottom of this article, Nintendo has not made any new official announcements regarding the NX, which is due to launch in March next year. As such, we're
I guess
unable
they
to.
couldn't get it for Christmas.
Right, yeah. So we'll get it next year, which is a weird release, March. You'd think they would wait. I guess they don't want to wait. They don't want to give PlayStation and Xbox a chance to one up them this time. So they're not going to wait for the holidays next year. So they are unable to comment on the various rumors and speculations that are circulating. That's from Eurogamer. So I don't know. I'm still concerned because the little sketch drawing they show makes the unit look pretty flat. And for those of us who are older with carpal tunnel for all our years of gaming on keyboards and writing and typing and everything else, a very flat controller system is going to be quite a pain in the wrist. So we'll see.
We'll see.
That's what they're talking about. So
yep. I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah, I still am. I'm not. I'm until Nintendo actually releases a picture. And then again, like we talked about before, there's always third-party hardware. So
there was also that controller they released a while ago that doesn't look anything like this. So
right, yeah, it's hard to say.
This is the rumor mill.
Exactly, and
know.
People, the more this release is anticipated, the more people are going to come up with these rumors and speculation and things like that. So, Anyway, jumping from Nintendo to another huge company who is just getting it from both ends this week. Everybody loves to hate. Everybody loves to hate Microsoft, but quite honestly, it's the most popular stable system for PC computing. I know everybody, not everybody, because let's face it, the people who use Linux or go with what's the other one, Ubuntu or any of the other third-party or freeware operating systems, they're hobbyists flat out, because you don't find a ton of support for these things. I'm going to say it. I don't care. You guys throw it at me in the comments. Tell me how stupid I am in the comments. But honestly, I would say 80% of your PC users, maybe even higher, maybe 90% of your PC users out there are Windows exclusively. So anyway, talking about Windows 10.
Can you get non-PC software on a... Can you get non-Microsoft? Are you talking about Linux?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some games come out and they work for Linux, and other people it's a gamble, or you have to run a dual boot and you have to have Windows anyway.
Pretty much most PCs run on Microsoft.
Right, most of them are dual boot. Most of them run on Microsoft base with a secondary boot of Linux, so that people can play around with Linux and talk about how cool they are for using Linux. And yeah, like I said, throw it at me in the comments. I'm not a Linux user or an Ubuntu user. I use Windows because I don't want to spend so much time working on that when I could be playing games.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Steam is so nice.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that here in a minute. But the first little thing...
Windows 10, right? That's on Windows 10.
Yeah, Windows 10. Windows 10 is taking it up the backside this week. The first thing that we're finding out is when Windows 10 Anniversary Update comes out, which is scheduled on August 2nd. So you guys be aware of what's about to happen on actually happening today. If you have Windows 10, I have not upgraded. My laptop has Windows 10.
I still have Vista on my laptop.
Yeah, I had to buy
Skype on my phone.
Yeah, I had to buy a new laptop, and you can't get them with anything under Windows 10.
My new phone probably has more computing power than my laptop.
Yeah, I've got an old one like that sitting there. But yeah, for those of you who are using Windows 10 Home and Pro today, you would have gotten the anniversary update. And you might notice something new, that you can't turn Cortana off.
Sexy Clippy.
Yeah,
Sexy
Clippy, which I've just been interested. I don't pay attention to because I turn all that extra shit off. So I've never experienced any of these odd things. But I know from streaming with some friends who have dealt with Cortana that this voice recognition Cortana bullshit often springs up and does things when you're not even talking to it.
Yeah, Siri does that sometimes too, because you say Siri out loud when the phone's just sitting next to you. You say anything close to Siri, Siri will activate when the phone's not doing anything.
Yeah, and I don't know how many times I've been streaming with friends or with when I do streams every month with Real Women of Gaming, and the host is talking, and half the time she's telling Cortana to shut up, because she'll say something and then Cortana will go Google whatever she's talking about, or it'll start trying to play a song or some shit. But yeah, today, this wonderful update from Microsoft with their intrusive bullshit is going to install, or at least put a setting in Cortana that will not allow you to turn it off. So hopefully they fix the issues that make Cortana just come on whenever the hell she feels like it. But I don't know. I haven't used my laptop today. I don't even know if I did the Windows update on my laptop today. So we'll see how that all works for you guys. But as much as I like Microsoft's ease of use, and as much as I love to hate Microsoft's bullshit, this Windows 10 stuff, man, I'm certainly glad I did not upgrade my PC, my actual gaming rig that I use, because this crap would
Windows
piss me
7
off.
is still the best for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I still use
Windows 8 was a mess from what I understand.
It was. It wasn't terrible for gaming, but it wasn't good enough to warrant an update. And I've always been of the mind that if it isn't broken, don't fix it. I don't install drivers on my video card every time a new driver comes out, because you never know when you're going to get a new driver that's going to fuck everything up. I stayed on Windows XP, and I never upgraded my PC from XP to Vista, or wasn't there a version between Vista and 7?
No,
it was XP to Vista to 7. Yeah, I didn't go to Vista, and then I stayed
Windows
on
8, and then they skipped 9 for some reason.
Yeah, Windows, because then they went Windows 2000 and Windows Me. But yeah, I went from 98 to XP, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't plan on upgrading to 10 anytime soon on my PC, as long as I can keep my OEM version of 7 running, especially after reading this stuff. Especially the next damn article. It looks like the Gears of War, they've been having a battle with the new Microsoft platform for a little while now. I know they've been complaining, developers have been complaining about how Microsoft 10's new platform is making it difficult for them to program games for other platforms. Windows is trying to become an exclusive PC gaming platform and pretty much push all the other people out to try to get their Xbox connection and their Windows 10 connection, all this other shit going. But according to the developers for Gears of War, which it looks like, Epic Games Tim Sweeney, apologies, alleges that Microsoft is working to make Steam unusable. Now, this is all speculation on the part of a developer, but it's what he believes based on what he's seeing as a developer inside the industry, with the way that Microsoft is coding Windows 10 and the way it works with Steam. He believes, based on what he's seeing, that over the next few years, Microsoft is going to slowly patch Windows 10 in a way that will make Steam more and more broken, and try to get people onto Microsoft's
it's not going to end well.
Marketing platform.
It's not going to end well.
I don't think so. As much as I hate Steam, I
love Steam, by the way.
Yeah, and everybody does.
Steam.
I hear so much about how people love Steam, and I've had so many
because
issues with Steam.
A lot of people hate Steam. A lot of the people who play really graphically heavy games hate Steam, from what I understand. Like, they're the people that have problems with Steam, because Steam can have problems with that.
Yeah.
I play mostly small retro games. As I said, I've got a laptop that still runs Vista on it, so I don't have a very high graphics card. So I play games like Shovel Knight and Head.
Right.
And they run fine, and they're really good on it. And the good thing about Steam, you get it on Steam, you have it forever.
Yeah.
You never have to worry about buying the game ever again. You get it on your computer, you can download the new stuff.
As long as the company continues support. I mean, we just saw it with Disney discontinuing multiplayer support for the Disney Infinity line.
Okay. And I don't play money multiplayer games.
No, and some people don't. But what you run into is if a game decides to take down the server. Like, honestly, we have these Steam games.
Once again, that's only if you play a game that requires a server.
Right, but every Steam game requires a Steam server. And that's really where I'm not that I foresee Steam going out of business anytime soon, but honestly, if Steam were to go bankrupt for some bizarre, odd reason,
I have no way how much money they make in
right.
a year.
Yeah, like this is This is a moonshot. Like, Steam is not going to go back. But then again, whoever imagined half the game companies that have gone bankrupt over the last couple of years were going to go bankrupt? But Steam is huge. Steam is
anybody because they're
massive.
not the major. They're not the big three. So,
but still, like, what Konami just went, didn't they? Was it Konami or
they've just?
What was the big one that just went and shut down all their servers like 6 months ago?
Video game bankruptcy.
I mean, some fairly good-sized companies go out of business, and when they do, some of the multiplayer games that they have, even if it's a Steam game, if their servers go down, you're done. And that's the problem with digital downloads like Steam. In the event that something happens to Steam, whether it be crazy mismanagement or let's say all of the management at Steam decides tomorrow to retire and it gets replaced by a bunch of yahoos to know what the hell they're doing, and Steam goes out of business, all those games you bought are suddenly useless because you need the Steam server. And that's kind of where I was getting at with this. Like, I have Steam games. For instance, the reason I hate Steam, and I'm going to lay it out for you. The reason I hate Steam is partially my fault, but it's because of the way their system is set up. So I buy Fallout New Vegas after I beat Fallout 3. Now, Fallout 3 I bought the disc for before Steam was a huge thing. You didn't have to have Steam for Fallout 3. I installed it on my PC. I played it. I uninstalled it from my PC. I installed it again on my PC and played it, and it didn't matter, right? Because I bought the disc. Mm-hmm. Fallout New Vegas, I did the same thing. I bought the disc. But by the time New Vegas came out, you had to connect your New Vegas game to your Steam account. So I installed New Vegas and I played New Vegas, and I eventually and look at this. This is the other reason I hate Steam, but I'll tell you guys what just popped up on my screen in a second. So I installed New Vegas. I played it for a while. I stopped playing it for a while. And then I stopped playing any game that was on Steam, but my son started playing them. And he was playing on my account, but I wasn't using it, so I didn't really care because I didn't have any games on it I was playing at the time. Then I get Arma 3, which needs a Steam account. And my son has already installed a shitload of games on Steam that he's got for his. So I give him my account. I create a new Steam account to play Arma 3. Then I decide, hey, I want to play Fallout New Vegas. So I installed on my PC from my disc that I bought at freaking GameStop. My disc. Put it in my thing, started up. It's like, boom, your Steam account doesn't match the Steam account link to this game. I'm like, what the hell do you mean? Turns out that, yeah, when I linked Fallout New Vegas to my old Steam account, which I gave to my son, I can't play it on my new Steam account even though I have the physical disc right damn in front of me. That kind of shit pisses me off. Like, why the fuck, if I buy a disc, should I be restricted where and when I can play it? Because I bought the disc.
Why can you only play it on Steam?
Because as soon as you launch New Vegas, it connects to the Steam servers and it validates your account and it makes sure that it's the person playing it. It's their DRM. It's that DRM bullshit that comes up.
It's one of those concepts. Steam gets away with DRM because it provides such a good service for vast majority of people.
Yeah.
That people are fine with that concept.
Right, and I know I'm a unique situation because I gave my son my old account, which had New Vegas installed on it, and I got a new account and tried to play New Vegas on it. And yes, I could use the family shared plan and all of that other crap, but I come from a generation of PC gamers where I have the discs and I
could just log into the account that you gave to your son and play it.
Well, not even that. When I first started PC gaming, you had a disc, you installed the disc on your PC, and you played it.
That's how you could get around it. You could just log in.
As long as he's not playing too.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. As
long as he's not playing too, which my son plays on his PC all the time. The other reason I don't like Steam is it seems to want to update at the worst possible moments. Like right now, it's just got the Steam self-updater popped up and it wants to restart.
It does that. It does that. Whenever I start it up, it always does some form of checking if there's
and you've got
I don't watch Steam as often as most people.
Yep, and you've got the limit of when you have a game that's connected to Steam, you have to be connected to the internet. Like if my power goes out, my internet's down, and I want to play Fallout 4, which is not an online game, too bad. You can't launch Fallout 4 unless it can connect to the Steam servers. So even though
that would also kill your computer. to bed in like an hour.
Yeah, like that pisses me off. Like, why can't I play a completely single player offline game offline? No, I got to be able to connect to the Steam servers.
Yes, that's part of the DRM.
And that's the kind of shit that pisses me off. But anyway, the guys at Gears of War think that Microsoft is going to fuck Steam up. And as much as I don't like Steam and use Steam,
they won't get away with it. They're not going to get away with it.
I hope not. I really hope that you gamers out there pay attention to this shit and make sure that they don't do this. Really don't go to the Windows Store unless they turn this kind of crap around. If they really do break Steam over the course of their updates, give them hell. Don't put up with that shit. But then again, this is rumor. This is speculation based on what a developer believes Microsoft is going to do. So don't blow this shit out of proportion either. Don't take this article, which I'm reading on Gadgets 360.
As gospel. Don't take it as
Yeah,
gospel.
exactly. It's gadgets.ndtv.com. Steam on Windows 10 will get progressively worse, says Gears of War developer. This also came out on the 26th of July. So yeah, not gospel, rumor, speculation, but be mindful. Just be wary. Just be mindful of what's happening. Watch your Steam. Watch Windows updates. Make sure they're not doing stupid shit with this. Because I wouldn't put it past Microsoft, but I also wouldn't put it past somebody to get a little too carried away with their conspiracy theories and thinking what's going on. So keep a balanced mind on this, and don't take my word for it or Tim Sweeney's word for it. Just be mindful. So again, Microsoft getting hit hard. They are actually facing 2 new lawsuits this week, according to PCWorld.com, an article that came out from Ian Paul on the 28th. Microsoft is being sued in U.S. District Court in Florida. That says that the update prompts, which actually ended recently, the free upgrade period ended just this week. They say that the Windows 10 update prompts, those ones you kept getting unless you disabled them, that kept saying, do you want to update? Says it violates laws governing unsolicited electronic advertisements.
I don't think that lawsuit's going to go anywhere. But,
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. The second suit filed in Israel, it alleged that Microsoft installed Windows 10s on users' computers without consent. This one is a little bit more believable. Following what happened, here's what happened. Your average update thing gives you options. It'll say, do you want to update, let's say Java, for instance. Do you want to update Java? There's a new version of Java. Do you want to update? Yes or no, or stop telling me. There's almost always an option where you check a box that says, stop telling me about this, and you click OK, and it never pops up again. Windows, for a while, had the yes, no, or cancel. Or yes or cancel. You could either say yes to upgrade, or you could cancel it, and the box would go away until like next week. Pop up again, yes or cancel. Then the update screen changed to yes, I want to do it now, or no, I'd like to schedule it for a future time. There was no cancel option. And a lot of users were used to hitting cancel, and then they started hitting no, schedule for a later time. And that's when Windows would schedule a time to update sometime a couple weeks in the future, and then it would just update without telling you. It would just start downloading Windows 10 and install it. Which, yeah, is not, I mean, technically they got your consent, but they did it in a really shady fucking way. So this lawsuit, I actually think might go somewhere, because they really didn't do that. They were pretty sketchy about that shit. Did you? I mean, you said you're on an older Windows laptop, right? Did you deal with any of that?
Which I disabled installation updates on like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and you could. See, some of Windows 7 users have a harder time. I mean, we can still disable updates, but I did that for a little while, and Windows 7 gets updated so often that I disabled Windows 7 updates for about a year and a half, and then I had an issue where I needed to get an update. And then I went to turn them back on and get all the updates, and it took me almost all day to get my Windows updates because there were so many of them.
I'll do it.
So anyway, you were able to disable. I actually found a way to disable the Windows 10 prompts, but a lot of people didn't get that. I know a lot of, especially older people or people who are not very computer savvy, did not actually understand what was happening. Um, and they wound up scheduling those updates for a later time, and then they got the update that they didn't intend to get, and that really kind of, well, it caused some people to file a lawsuit, which is not surprising. But yeah, Microsoft's really having a tough week, and it couldn't be happening to a better group of people. So,
Still the standard for computers.
yes, as much as they run my
Software.
damn computer, as much as their OS does everything I need it to do, they still try some shady shit. They're like, I don't know, Microsoft, you need to stop with that crap. Seriously, like, people hate you enough already. Stop making them hate you more. So yeah, that's pretty much all of our news hunk. We're gonna.
There is actually new Pokemon news.
What's that? What happened?
Yesterday, they revealed stuff about Sun and Moon. Old Pokemon are getting new forms known as Alola form. The new region's called Alola. It's based on Hawaii. As you can imagine, the name like Alola is. Certain Pokemon are getting new designs and new types because of that. Because of the geography of the area of the region. Certain Pokemon, when brought to the region, I guess, thousands of years ago in the lore of Pokemon, they changed based on the environment they were in. So Sandshrew, which was a ground-type Pokemon, became an Ice and Steel type because it emigrated to the mountains.
Oh, okay.
Vulpix, which is a fire Pokemon, became an Ice type. And Executor, I don't know if you've seen what an Executor looks like. I don't know how much familiar with Pokemon. Executor is the one that looks like a living coconut tree.
Okay, yeah, I've seen some image of that going around, yeah.
Yeah. Now has a giant neck, and holy shit, it's really weird.
That's why it looks kind of like a giant scaly penis with balls, doesn't it?
No, it looks like a coconut tree had sex with a giraffe.
Okay. Nice, interesting.
So they go with that. So we got some interesting things. I don't know how many Pokemon are going to get this awesome design changes. How many of them are going to be really cool? I don't know. But they're also releasing more Pokemon too, and there were some new Pokemon that look really good. So we'll see what happens.
Cool, interesting. Yeah, that's good for you. I mean, you Pokemon players and fans have really been getting some good stuff last few weeks, and hopefully they keep putting it out, because they do have a huge fan base, and
they still have it for the designing of Pokemon. They still know how to do that.
Yeah, and that's good. Oh, and to bring in further news, I saw and my wife was really excited about this, because we talked when Pokemon Go came out. Neither one of us really interested, but I told her, I said, if they come out with a Harry Potter Go game based on like capturing whatever magical beast or something, which I imagine is really not that far down the road.
I guarantee you almost every company with any established property that has multiple things in it is moving towards. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if fantasy football or baseball is doing that too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They see how much money this game is. Has it been downloaded like 100 million times or something like that?
The number's ridiculous, especially when Canada and Japan opened. The numbers just
they're making well over $1 million a day.
Yeah. But there was an article that came out not too long ago, and I joked with her. I said, because we're all like laughing about Pokemon Go. Not that, like, you guys, if you love your Pokemon Go, play the hell out of your Pokemon Go. It's just not for us. So we're laughing about the game, and I said, but if they came out with a Harry Potter Go game, you'd play the hell out of that shit. Because she's a huge Harry Potter fan, so I know she would. But she was really excited because this past week an article did come out that said a Harry Potter Go type game is coming out. But it turns out that it was a hoax. There was a spoof news site that released this article about a Harry Potter Go type game based on the Pokemon Go platform. And legitimate news sites picked it up as a real story. But turns out it's not. But don't let that crush your hopes. Somebody's going to be making this game. Whoever owns the rights to Harry Potter game stuff is going to license this shit out. And I imagine soon after, maybe not till Harry Potter 8, but I'm sure that relatively soon we're going to be seeing a game about capturing monsters in the Harry Potter world. It's just not happening just yet. Like, that first news story was not legitimate, so... just so you guys are aware, if you were happy about that, as far as I understand, that is not a real thing yet.
They say that it would make sense to release it to promote the new movie,
Right.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I believe.
That's what I thought, and I just don't know if they'd have the time. Like that
This
would
is
be
perfect. Where to find them?
right.
Find them in the world.
Exactly. Like that would be the perfect joint marketing plan is to release this game when that movie comes out. I just don't know if they're going to have time to do it. Like if they do, man, that would be incredible cuz how many kids are going to be wanting to go see that movie after capturing these monsters, on their phones
Yeah,
and their
release it
tablets.
about a week before the movie comes out.
Oh, people would
would
just
be
be going nuts about it.
Of course they would.
Sorry about that. My arm is just driving me nuts. All right, so we are going to
What's wrong
jump.
with your arm?
Oh, it's it's just itchy. My skin's dry. It's a little dry today.
Oh, okay. Good thing, because when you say that, I immediately think, oh, the pain that precedes a heart attack.
No, not that arm. Though my other arm is itchy too. If you guys did notice in my Saturday stream, I did get some new ink. I shared pictures of it on Twitter. Yep, I got a memorial. It's hard to see on the camera. I'm trying to turn it so everybody can see it, but it's wings wrapped around an S pendant that my mother wore. It's a memorial for my mom. So yeah, that's itchy, but thankfully it's almost done healing. And,
so GenCon's in Indiana, right?
GenCon is in Indiana. So yes, we leave Friday morning for Indiana. We will be there till Sunday. So lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, my area of the country doesn't really have a good convention scene, really. I'd have to go all the way to Philly to get to a good, or New York City.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, thankfully, we've got C2E2 in Chicago. We also get Comic-Con in Chicago, but Comic-Con, I'm going to say it. I know everybody loves the big Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con is crap. C2E2 is the place to be.
Unless you are in media. If you get a media pass, everything at those things is amazing because you don't really have to wait in lines.
That could be true, but as a comic book fan, I don't know about San Diego. I have not been to San Diego. I may hopefully get to San Diego at some point.
I imagine the only way San Diego Comic-Con is tolerable if you actually want to go to things and actually have a good experience, not spend half your time waiting in lines.
Right.
You probably have to have a media pass.
Well,
because a media pass gets you into things.
Yeah, and my trouble, and that's why I'll be going as media to GenCon, which is nice. But I still have to wait in line like everybody else. It's the difference. GenCon, my media pass gets me in the door, and it gives me contacts to people at the booths to talk to interview them for games and stuff like that. But I don't know if Comic-Con's the same way, but at GenCon, if you got a press pass, you don't get to jump in line. None of that. I have to buy tickets for events.
Most conventions they have like a, because the conventions that I've been to a few political special, for instance, I've been to CPAC, which is the Conservative Political Action conference. Yeah, I've been that a few times. It's they have a main ballroom that has their main speakers. And they have speakers all over the day. They have a floor with swag and what have you. But that main floor, it has a part in it that is media. So if you're media, you get in there. And certain speakers had very long lines.
Yeah.
Depending on the year. So what I'm saying is, I thought that was just what it was likely doing for all types of conventions. There's a media area in the main ballroom.
And it could be for some of them. I do know it's not for GenCon. GenCon is definitely, like I said, the only thing my media pass to GenCon gets me is emails from the companies asking me if I want to do interviews with people from the companies talking about new products, or you do get to try some games that the general public don't necessarily get to try right away, or you might get in line early to try certain games. You do get in, I think on Thursday, we won't be there Thursday, but the press gets in early on Wednesday or Thursday to walk the convention floor before anybody else gets in. But as far as events, nope, I got to buy tickets for every event just like everybody else. I got to stand in line just like everybody else. When I want to go to True Dungeon, which unfortunately we won't be, it's sold out before we could get tickets. That damn thing, they made it bigger this year. It's still sold out in less than a week. You have to wait in line.
Is ukulele going to be at GenCon?
That I don't know.
I know there's a playable demo of that. That was the kickstarted spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
Well, it depends. GenCon is much more tabletop than video, but there is still some video game stuff there, but it's mostly tabletop. Card games and RPGs.
So
and
Cards
stuff.
Against Humanity?
Oh, absolutely. Cards Against Humanity will have a booth. They also have a theater production, which is like I don't know if it's a stage play or a musical, based on Cards Against Humanity. Yeah,
Okay.
GenCon is insane. So big stuff. Watch for
Max,
the articles.
is Max going to be there to judge it?
That I don't know. That would be interesting, but I'm not sure if he's going to make it. But I do know, not because we didn't go last year before last, GenCon or Cards Against Humanity had a booth, and they were selling product at the booth.
Was there like a GenCon special expansion pack?
I don't think so. I think they were they might have been, but I know they were selling what they had left of the base game, which has been sold out for a while. They sold out of the base game at GenCon in like the first hour or something. It was
the base game's on Amazon.
Ridiculous.
Sold out.
It may be now. It was sold out for about a year and a half until they found a new printer for the cards, because they sold the initial run and then they needed to find somebody who could print them again.
Because I bought the base game in 2013 at some point.
Yeah.
Like halfway through the year.
Yep, and it was sold out because we tried to look for it last year and the year before, and it was pretty much sold out almost everywhere. There's been 6 official gen release expansions, maybe 7 by now. Yeah.
And they've had several exclusive ones.
Yeah.
I know they've had a few. I think they've had a few PAX exclusive ones.
Oh yeah.
And a few other things like that. They had House of Cards Against Humanity, which was a special thing they did to promote the second season of Cards Against
House of Cards. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught most of the holiday
find
ones.
That on eBay. They gave them away for free as a promotional thing with Netflix. And I think you could probably get them on eBay if you wanted.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, there's gonna be tons of stuff. Like I said, watch for the articles, watch for pictures, watch our Instagram, Frags and Beer Instagram, which is also linked on fragsandbeer.com. Watch our Facebook feed and our Twitter feed for pictures. We'll be sharing pictures of the convention all weekend. I will be sharing articles. I am writing exclusively for this event for HighlandArrow.com. So for the articles and the big stuff, for the interviews, watch HighlandArrow.com. But for the quick picks and all the cool stuff that we share through the course of the three days we'll be there, watch our Instagram feed. Watch our YouTube, or not our YouTube channel. Watch our Twitter feed and Frags and Beer on Facebook. We'll be sharing all kinds of cool pictures and stories and cosplay. And I mean, the cosplay there is insane. People really go out. It's awesome. So it's going to be a good time. So anyway, we're going to jump right into the meat of our last cool hunk. And I'll let you know again right now, there are spoilers. If you have not seen Star Trek Beyond yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, you may want to wait to watch the rest of this episode until you have seen the movie. I will try to get this recording up before we go to GenCon, because I want you guys to hear all that stuff, not after I get back, but before I go. So anyway, dude, what did you think, man, of Star Trek Beyond?
I liked it. I liked Into Darkness more, but this one did what it needed to do for a sequel to that movie. The stakes weren't going to be anywhere near as high, but it ended up somehow making the stakes really, really high. Millions of people were possibly going to die.
Oh, yeah.
They were able to set stakes near the end of the movie because they really didn't have it. You didn't know what the bad guy's plan was for quite a long time in the movie.
Right. Yeah, I was... It was slow to start. It was a little slow to get going, which is actually probably one of the things that I liked about this. The more I thought about it, because Star Trek has always been, the Star Trek movies have always been a little slower. They're not fast-paced action movies. They're not crazy, action blockbuster type movies. They've always been a little slower to build story and characters and to really get into it. And this one, to me, as much as I liked the Star Trek reboot and Into Darkness, this one felt more like a traditional Star Trek movie than the other two, didn't you think?
Say that again?
I thought Beyond felt like a more traditional Star Trek movie than the other two new ones did.
Well, I don't know much about traditional Star Trek.
Oh, okay. The other, like, if you ever watch, and granted the very first one, like the motion picture is very slow. You have to really be a Star Trek fan to get through the motion picture. But almost everybody's seen The Wrath of Khan. Most people have seen bits and pieces, like First Contact is a really popular one with people. Undiscovered Country or The Voyage Home are pretty popular. But Star Trek has always been a series that's they're not heavily action oriented. They like to work a lot of story into it, some politics, some dialogue, and some slow moments into the stories. And the re-releases, the what was it, 2009 when the reboot came out, and the and Into Darkness later, those were very action oriented. They were very much more fast paced movies, more modern action movies. Didn't you think?
Yeah, they're more. This one had less action in it and more intrigue.
Yeah, I like
also,
that.
They also took down an enemy with the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
That's always.
And that was kind of neat. I love that scene where they're like, "Is that classical music I'm hearing?" Like, I love those because those are things we remember from the Star Trek shows and the Star Trek movies. There have been times where they have played like modern rock music. I believe there was a Next Generation episode, or at least an Enterprise episode, where they played music from like Our Time Now, and the crew's listening to it going like, why are you playing classical music? And we're listening to it go like, that's AC/DC, or that's the Beastie Boys, or whatever, and they look, and that kind of sets the tone of the entire Star Trek universe when they do that. And I liked that. I also liked how it was more Star Trek-y, like when they were fixing up. And I love this throwback to the old NX class, because I actually enjoyed the Enterprise series. So when they found that NX class starship on that planet and started repairing it, they were talking about like the EPS conduits, and they were talking about all the technology from the Enterprise TV show repairing that old ship. Like that was kind of cool. Like that tied in this movie to the old shows more than the other movies did. The other movies didn't seem to try to tie into the older Star Trek stuff quite as much as this one did to me. Especially when they found, like when Spock finds that picture of Ambassador Spock with the old crew from the Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3.
I honestly have no idea what you're talking.
You don't remember we found the picture of the old crew and they were wearing the red uniforms?
Oh yeah, in the movie. I thought you were talking about a show.
No.
The old crew, that was really good. Unfortunately, Chekhov is gonna live long enough.
Right.
J.D. Abrams confirmed that they're going to kill off his character. In the movie.
And that's sad, but I understand. And
they're not going to recast him.
I'm glad that they're not.
The car company that was involved is recalled it, and his family is suing them for wrongful death. So
I mean, if they're at fault, if there was a problem with the car that they could have taken care of or fixed that caused that, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that kind of shit needs to be taken care of. But yeah, I mean, that's sad that we lost Anton Yelkin. He has done some really fantastic work in his short period of time making films. That's a sad loss, and I'm drawing a blank on one of the first movies I saw him in. Damn it. We just talked about it the other night. Some friends of ours. He was on
the guy who died. Yeah, he was in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Odd Thomas. That's the movie.
Oh, Odd Thomas. Okay.
If you want to see some definitive Anton Yelkin outside of Star Trek, and you have not seen Odd Thomas, go see Odd Thomas, or go rent it, get it from Netflix. Whatever you got to do, get Odd Thomas. Such a fantastic film.
I think it's on Netflix.
I think we watched it on Instant Watch too. We may have gotten the disc. I don't remember for sure, but fantastic film. Definitely see Odd Thomas. Dude is good. Dude was good to start with, and he was great as Chekhov, and it's a sad loss. I'm glad they're not replacing him. As much as it will be weird to not have a Chekhov with the Star Trek crew, it would be much more strange to see someone else try to pull it off, I think.
Yeah, it would.
So yeah, sad loss, but he was really good. I actually he did a really good job in this one. He had some great parts. They all really did. You know what I liked about that is even some of the minor cast, but all of the major cast had their own parts of this movie. Like it wasn't a movie about Kirk, which can happen sometimes when you make a Star Trek movie with the old crew. A lot of times Kirk was very much the focus as the captain of the ship. but this movie gave a lot of time, a lot of screen time to the other members of the cast. And I really liked that, like on their own and then together. Like they all each had their own little vignettes within the movie where they were doing their thing. And they all did a fantastic job. I really liked that. I do want to say that the initial teasers that everybody was very unhappy with did not do that movie justice. Like, do you remember the original teaser that came out for Star Trek? What, last year?
Didn't that one that started with the Beastie Boys song?
Yeah, and it looked like we were going to get like a Star Trek version of like a Fast and the Furious. I mean, that's what everybody called it, was Fast and the Furious in
Directed
space.
by the guy who's directed a majority of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
So that's why probably people were concerned.
Oh, exactly. And the teaser was just nothing but people jumping off of stuff and landing on stuff and grabbing, running, and like... But that was not the movie. Like, if you saw the teasers in the trailer and you're concerned about this movie and haven't seen it yet, and those teasers turned you off, go see the movie. The movie is not at all like that. It is not a Fast and the Furious movie in space. Like, I don't know why they did the teasers like that, because they completely ruined.
They put a lot of emphasis on the motorcycle scene.
Yeah, which
was really cool, honestly.
I thought so.
It was a distraction. It wasn't meant to be an action. It was meant to him. He was distracting him so his crew could get away safely.
Yep, exactly.
The entire point of it.
And it was done well because, the motorcycle is on that old ship where it probably would have been. It was one of the crew members.
Surprising that there's any gasoline that would work in it, but that's just a different
True, yeah, who knows what it ran on. They didn't get into as much as Star Trek likes to get into the science of things.
Gasoline wouldn't last for hundreds of years.
No, and we don't even know if it was gas-powered at that point. Who knows? They might have changed the engine out. When that NX-class ship launched, maybe they changed the engine out and it was fusion. Who freaking knows? The other thing that I wanted to call out, and this goes way back, and people may not remember this, but and I suck with names, but the guy who played Idris Elba, he played the villain. When he was cast, I don't know if you remember this, but social media was abuzz, of course, with the usual offendatrons, the perpetually offended robots who have to find something wrong with everything. When he was originally cast and they showed images of him in the makeup as the villain, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, you actually cast a black actor, but then you got to cover him in makeup and make him look like an alien.
He was an alien.
He wasn't.
Well, he was warped.
Yes.
By the influence.
So I'd like to say to you, Offendatrons, you fucking idiots, that he did play a black human, an African-American human, however you want to call it. It was Idris Elba, who was mutated by whatever something on that planet. The energy tried to live a long time. But at the end of the movie, it is him when he changes back, and it is he nailed it. Idris Elba was awesome. You got to see him outside the makeup. He wasn't just an alien covered up. Like, they show who he is and what he did, and they give you his name and everything. So you people who saw an early image of this movie and had to throw a fit because you needed shit to be offended by, you know what? Screw you, because they did it right. Like, Idris Elba was awesome. He did such a good job. So,
yeah,
it was good. Any key points you want to bring up? Something awesome?
I enjoyed the movie. I put it in the B range. I wouldn't put it in the A range per se, but I put it in the B range. I enjoyed it. I wrote a small review of it, as I do it for every month of every movie I see. It should be coming out sometime this week.
Yep.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll
see. I hope to get that. Yeah, if I get that up, I will try to get that up before we leave for GenCon.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the new trilogy. I've enjoyed the new trilogy very much. Mm-hmm. I like of the three. I say I like Into Darkness most, probably because Benedict Cumberbatch is such a fantastic fucking actor. My God, is he a good actor?
He is really good.
But he's fantastic. So that's probably why I predominantly really like that movie, because Benedict Cumberbatch is in it quite a lot. The first one's really good. I remember enjoying that a lot.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction to Star Trek. Like, I had just learned a little bit from being in the world itself. You learn bits and pieces about Star Trek.
Right.
Largely the way the over enunciation that Captain Kirk would talk.
Yeah.
Made it sound like he forgot the words halfway while I was speaking.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's primarily what I learned about Star Trek going into that movie. And yeah, it was a good introduction into it. They need to make Klingons the enemy in one of the movies. I mean, I don't know why they haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
I know it's an easy one, but why don't they do that?
I think they should too, and I think they've been avoiding it because Klingons have been the enemy in so many previous ones. I hope we see them do, because I did like what little bit we got to see of them in the
second one. Yeah.
In the second one, so hopefully we will see more. But yeah, folks, go see the movie. If you've already seen it, let us know what you think in the comments. What you thought of the movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. I'm not sure yet where I'm placing it. It was definitely one of the better ones I've seen. It's definitely better than Insurrection or Generations or a couple of the original cast movies. Definitely better than the first motion picture. As far as with the new trilogy, I'm not sure yet. I liked it a lot, but I'm not sure where I'd put it yet. But yeah,
there are a couple of other bits of television and movie news. Remember that movie Splash with Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks? And
yeah.
Tom Yep.
Yeah,
they're making a new version of it, and it's going to be gender flipped. And the mermaid is going to be a merman, and it's going to be played by Channing Tatum.
Of course it's going to be Channing Tatum. Like, if they need a part, what they need to do to take his shirt off, it's going to be Channing Tatum.
Yeah. Or when it comes to Marvel movies, just pick a random comedian and get him really buff.
Right? Yeah. It'd be one of the Chris's.
And superhero movies at large. J.K. Simmons is getting buff to play Commissioner Gordon. There's a video of him getting buff as shit.
For Commissioner Gordon?
Yes. You just Google that. J.K. Simmons gets ripped for Jake.
Why? Gordon
looks like crazy. I mean, the picture. His muscles are huge.
I don't get it. Gordon is always either overweight or really skinny. Every iteration.
I Googled J.K. Simmons and I pressed space and the first thing is buff.
Yeah, right there.
Picture him and he's buff as shit. I mean, but yeah.
Okay. Well, he's still kind of skinny though. But yeah, that's interesting.
The muscles in the arms, man.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Pretty those muscles on muscles right there. I mean,
yeah, he is. He is pretty jacked. I mean, more power to him. I hope I can do that when I'm that old.
Yeah, you just need a personal trainer that specializes in.
Right, and eat nothing but rice and chicken.
But that's a cottage industry now. People needing to get buff for superhero movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And the last bit of news, Legion, that show that's going to be based off of, is going to be an X-Men show.
Yes.
Based centered around Professor Xavier's crazy son.
Yeah.
Fucking insane son. Might be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
How are they going to do that? He's a mutant.
Yeah.
The only way they can do that is to not call him a mutant.
It's possible. Fox is like, you want to get in on this? Would you be okay with us? I mean, they might have they haven't confirmed it, but it's a possibility that Legion might be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which might be a soft way to introduce mutants in the MCU.
That I hope they do, but I don't know, especially with Marvel getting away from mutants now with their recent announcement that there won't be any more mutants. I don't know if we talked about that on the show, but yeah, that was one of the things that has made the nail in the coffin much more bearable for getting rid of Marvel Comics, because Marvel has announced, and if I didn't cover that news, I'll cover it now. Marvel Comics has announced no more new mutants. All the ones we have now are it. No more new mutants will be born.
And we have no idea how much they will stay on that.
Yeah,
it
true.
Could just be a controversy.
Could be temporary to sell books, but it's enough to make me say, yeah, I'm definitely still tired of Marvel shit.
Also, they have confirmed that Doctor Strange is the official start of the cinematic universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe, Doctor Strange is the official beginning of it.
So it's going to be before...
Which makes sense, because Doctor Strange would have had to train years upon years upon years.
Okay, so as far as chronologically, it's set before all the other movies. Okay, that makes sense.
It can also allow them to change the rules if they're not. Unfortunately, we have to wonder why Doctor Strange wasn't around for the other things that happened. Like,
right.
Why didn't he just show up at Ultron?
Yeah, he's somewhere else doing something, and yeah, that's pretty much how he is in the comic
They'll
books.
figure
People
it
to
out.
go to him when they need something crazy done because he's so powerful that whenever you bring him into something, he just owns it all, and people have no use of even being there. So yeah, that's it, folks. That's everything. Go see Star Trek. Watch Microsoft and their bullcrap. Keep an eye on Nintendo. Watch for some official announcements, and keep an eye on HighlandArrow.com for the GenCon updates this weekend, as well as our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram feed on Frags and Beer. At Frags and Beer on Twitter, fragsandbeer.com/Facebook or facebook.com/Frags and Beer, and Instagram is Frags and Beer. So watch those for all the Gen Con news. If you like the show, subscribe. If you like the recording, subscribe so we can get that custom URL on YouTube. And if you missed part of the show, we'll have the recording up in the next few days. Thank you for joining us. You guys are awesome. Good night.
Bye-bye.